Do you think the sleeve is loose or tight? It's probably loose also, okay? And I can also, even without like putting the shirt on, I can put my hand in here. You see, even without unbuttoning it, I can stick my whole hand in here, right? So the cuff is loose too. I can put my hand in there and look to see there's a little bit of room on each side at that location, right? So I don't really need to do too much in the way of measurement, but I'm going to observe what's really happening in life. So I'm seeing that I've got like maybe 1/4 of an inch on either side of my hands at that point where the sleeve would hit. So right here, right at the ball of the heel of your hand, I guess, we're going to come out 1/4 of an inch and out 1/4 of an inch. Okay? You see now? Now, how do I get this angle? Because I just drew in an angle. Why did I come up with that? Why did I put this up here or down here?
Is it parallel with the lines on the...
Yeah, it's parallel with her wrist line, or it's perpendicular to her arm. So I'm just using her arm as a guide for how it would fit, okay? So this line, if I then started connecting this would be parallel to her wrist. Should I just connect this point with this point now? No. No, what's happening?
There's the
What's happening?
cup.
The cuff is a certain width. We probably need to know how wide that cuff is. But the sleeve itself gets wider beyond the cuff. It's kind of blousing out, okay? So the sleeve is bigger, and then it gets kind of compressed before it gets sewn into the cuff. The way it's compressed here is there's a little pleat that's making that happen, okay? So, who wants to measure the cuff? How wide? I'm done with measuring. I showed you guys last week. Come on. Come on up. Just like I'm gonna make sure I get the right measurement. That's the thing, if you measure yourself, then you can be confident. If you rely on other people, then you're relying on other people. So we want to know how wide that cuff is. 2.5. So we're gonna go up from this location. So this is the edge of the top and bottom of the cuff. So this is, we're calling this, what do we call that, the heel of the hand? And we've got 1/4 inch ease. Okay, so we're just at that heel, just out 1/4 of an inch. And then we're gonna go up 2.5. Okay, and the cuff, does it look rectangular or is it sort of trapezoidal?
Let's hope it's an illusion.
Well, what do we see when we're just looking at it? Yeah, it's flaring out. Your arm gets bigger, your wrists get bigger as you're going up. So we're gonna make it, and there's no real measurement here, it's just observational. It's just this slight kind of tapered shape. Thank you. So I'm gonna make it a tiny bit wider at the top than the bottom. Okay. Now, that whole blousing thing, the sleeve is bigger than the cuff, we're just gonna come out and just give it a little bit of a blouse, right? Then what? From there, what do the lines look like to connect from here to here and here to here? What do they look like? Pretty much. I mean, I'm seeing. I mean, there's a little ripple there because I'm not holding it tight, but it's going to be pretty much straight, okay? Except up at the shoulder. What would happen if she actually had an arm in here? Would there be a corner? No, it would curve over her shoulder, right? There would also, gravity would kind of come into play. So I'm going to use this shoulder level to help me figure out the curve of this sleeve. So I'm going to go down, and then I'm just going to straighten it out from here and meet up with the little, tiny little bit of blousiness happening right here. okay? And then this one, to me, it looked more or less straight. Sometimes I put a little bit of a curve as well, but I think it's more or less straight. Now, why is it bigger down here than up here? Gravity. And the gap of her, the space between her underarm and the bottom is much bigger, so it's automatically doing that, okay? Are there any details we could do that we feel comfortable doing right now? We'll have a whole big lesson after lunch on buttons and pockets and all that. But any details that you see that